My name is Andrea Curtis, and I am a special education resource teacher at Manhattan High School. And I wanted to bring you into my home classroom space and show you what that looks like for me as a SPED teacher. So this is just a tiny corner of my bedroom because there are 4 of us in our home doing work or school from home. So this is where I sit all day. You can see I have my printer set up, my green screen, and my desk area. I have this blanket up in my window because the sunlight shining in was giving me headaches while I was looking at the screen all day, so I had to make it darker behind my computers. So this is my desk area at the end of the day, and you can see that on my screen I have 2. So this is my district issued MacBook, and then this is an extra monitor we had at home. I had to purchase an adapter to support all of the different things that I plug in. And so that's for my monitor, my printer. I have a wireless keyboard, a wireless mouse, and I also have AirPods as well. And then I have my charging cord over here for my iPad. So a day in the life of a SPED teacher is basically nonstop. If you were to look at my internet browser, you would see, if I can get it open, oh, I moved it over here. You would see that I have several tabs open. And so I just wanted to show you my Canvas page. So if I go to my dashboard, you'll see here that I have 40 published courses. So this allows me to get into my students' teachers' classes to look at what they're working on. So I have 22 students on my caseload, and almost all of their teachers have given me access. So on a daily basis, I run my own classes. So that is advisory, learning center, and then I teach a reading foundations course. So I'm in those every day, but then I also go into the students' gen ed classrooms. So for example, I spend a lot of time in, we'll say, humanities and composition. So here is Miss Grader's humanities and composition. So what I need to be able to do is access all of the modules as well as grades for my students so that I can monitor them. So if I click on grades, I can search by drop-down menu by who I'm assigned to and take a look at assignments and what has been completed and what is missing. And so things that are missing, I work with students on trying to get caught up and get those missing assignments turned in. So you see here, this student has several missing assignments in one class. So now imagine this student actually is doing pretty well, but some of my others, they are failing 5 out of their 7 classes. So now they have 5 classes that I need to go into and search individually for each of the assignments to figure out what they still need to do, and I need to communicate with teachers in that way. So that's not a whole lot different than what I do on a normal basis, but what's different now is that I have access to all of their content. So that's a huge bonus because I didn't have access to that before everyone was using Canvas, and now I do. So some things that I'm doing for students is I go in and I print off materials. So I have some students that are struggling with accessing technology, and so I will go in and print off packets of materials and drop them off at their house so they can try to do a pencil paper method and take pictures to try and turn into their teachers that way. So I toggle a lot between Canvas and Infinite Campus. So I will log in here to monitor how students are doing, but not all grade books are working in the way that they're supposed to. So if I go search up a student and I look at their grades, I can see this particular student has a B, 1, 2, 3, 4 Fs, and a D. So I go to his science class, and some things are entered and have zeros, but others are blank, so I don't know what that means. So then I need to go into that teacher's Canvas page and find what is not matching up. So I'll go here, and then I have to go into their modules. Grades. And then I need to go to the drop down, and you can see there are several students in this class. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 students that I see at different time periods throughout the day. So I need to go in here and cross-check to see if it's matching up with what's in Infinite Campus. So as you can imagine, this can be quite time-consuming just for one class. Now, if they're failing several classes, I do this for each of them. And this takes the whole entire time. So I know we were told at the beginning of all of this not to teach and talk for the entire 90 minutes that we have students in class, but I find that I do talk that entire 90 minutes because it's so time consuming to get through everyone's content for each of their classes. A lot of people might say, well, they're high schoolers, they should know how to do this, they need to be more responsible for their grades. But this is special education. A lot of students that I work with struggle with executive function, which is the ability to take in, process, and organize information, and then to be able to follow through with a plan. A lot of my students that I work with have extreme difficulty with this. So to manage all of these different classes on Canvas with all the different methods and all the different styles, I mean, I can pull up these different teachers' Canvas pages and you'll see they're all different. And so that's a whole organizational process that they need to learn. And it takes time. And the time that takes is sometimes time that takes away from time that should be spent on learning new material, getting assignments done, paying attention in class, when they're just trying to figure out how to navigate all of their technology. So here's one class. They have tabs at the top. I'm going to go into another class and compare that one. So this one has announcements, welcome, and then you scroll down for information and they go to coursework. And within coursework, that's organized differently. So sometimes teachers have at the top the most recent information that they've gone over, and sometimes it's at the bottom, and sometimes it's in the middle. So again, very different for each student. And so I try to help them navigate these things. Trying to think what else. I usually have my cell phone out on my desk because I don't have time to check emails during the day. So I am also working as a mentor to a new teacher. And so I need to be accessible to them as they teach in person and I'm all remote and they have questions. And so I need to be available even just through a simple text message if they have a quick question. So anyway, that's just a small bit of what my day-to-day stuff is like. I am doing fluency checks on students. So I print off paper copies and I download them or upload them into my Canvas page so that the student can see it on their end. And then I'm setting a timer as if we were in person and doing it that way. I try to keep my process very simplified, and so this is my learning center, very simplified. They have a calendar right on the home page, so if they ever forget what schedule they're on, they can always find it there, as well as my reading course that I teach. This is a reading intervention class, so this is actually not special education. This is a Tier 3 intervention that we provide to all students. So depending on how they score on their FAST Bridge tests, they may be recommended for this course. And so I am put in to, or I've been assigned to teach this course, and we follow a basic structure working on vocabulary, reading comprehension, or reading fluency skills. And here we are in 9 weeks, and my students are just finally starting to get into the routine of things. In addition just to my own getting used to the routine and how I want to set up the processes for my class. And then, of course, with special education, there's always the dreaded paperwork. So this is our IEP program that we use. Before working remote, I could have had time occasionally throughout a school day to, oh, I gotta quick make a copy of this and update this paperwork. But with the current setup, I have zero time to do that. And so it's that work-home life struggle that we all have a hard time with, but it's intensified that much more because I don't have hardly any time at all during the day to do these kinds of things. And I don't want to spend the hours that are required of it on the weekends because that's my time with my family. So it's just always that constant feeling of keeping my head above water. And before, we could have a sub for half a day once a month just for paperwork, and right now I don't feel that I've been able to do that. This sub would need extensive training on how to use all of these tools to make it worth my students' time to even have a substitute teacher. So there's that struggle and just trying to figure out how to manage all of that. So anyway, that's my world here, and thanks for taking the time to watch.